So explain to me in, very simple language, why we can't, and we've known this, and I know Lev Gonick and Case has worked on this for decades, why it's so hard to just not Wi-Fi the whole city.
You take it.
That's all.
Okay, so I asked that same question myself. Well, first you have to realize that when one community did that fiber expansion, it was designed as an anchor institution-driven fiber. So it didn't go out into all the various neighborhoods. It went down to major arteries and corridors throughout Cleveland, maybe down Euclid, maybe down Chester or Superior, something of that nature. But it was driven by a model where if we get it to an anchor institution, like, say, a Sisters of Charity's location, then, and stop it there, what the thought wasn't taken, it was like stopping short. It didn't say, okay, now how do we get it there and then bring it out to the neighborhoods? And that's the piece. Now, since then, so yeah, they did that. They got out to the anchor institutions. It was set up out there, so you got dark fiber, which is basically under the ground, that is sitting out there. And there are opportunities that are now, people are now talking about how do we now leverage that investment for the greater good of citizens, not for small businesses, not for anchor institutions, but for citizens. That's the key thing right there. So the new incarnation of One Community, which was split to be Everstream, which was now for-profit that owned probably 80% of it, and then you have Digital C that still has some equity in that fiber infrastructure. They are now tapping into that and piloting some exercises with people like Cuyahoga Metro Housing Authority, where they are now in Campus District piloting, tapping into that fiber, putting up an antenna, making a line of sight connection to a CMHA property to get the fiber to the building, and then using other technology to bring it down and get it into the various housing units. So they're piloting this right now, and we are monitoring that to see how that goes. But that gets you to the home. What it doesn't do is there's two prongs when you talk about this whole internet access. It's also public Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, as you just walk about as a resident of Cuyahoga County or Greater Cleveland, and you're just doing it with your smartphone. So I am exploring opportunities for that because very little has been done with that. You may have some public Wi-Fi that might be in certain high traffic areas, like maybe Public Square, or maybe over there by the cultural gardens and stuff like that. But do you have it all about equitably distributed across all the various communities and neighborhoods? I would say no, unless you're just piggybacking off of local businesses in your neighborhood, Starbucks and Panera Breads and coffee shops and so forth, and McDonald's, if you will, that broadcast free public fiber. So I'm looking at different opportunities. I was just in New York this past week, looking and walking down Harlem. And they got public Wi-Fi going up there in kiosks and so forth, walking down there and looking at different technologies they're using. So it is something that I'm investigating, and in talking to the subject matter experts like the Digital Seeds, One Communities, and so forth that have done different other things to say, what can we do here in Cleveland? How can we package it so that we can do something that isn't just for downtown, that isn't just for University Circle, but that gets into Buckeye, that gets over there into Collingswood, that gets over to Glenville, that goes over here to West Park, and all about. So whatever we do, it's not going to be a shot in the dark. It's going to be, at least not from the Cleveland Foundation, we're going to do something that is going to be equitable and inclusive around. But it's tackling both aspects, the public Wi-Fi and then the connectivity to the homes.